Is it really possible not to lose any cent in every trade that you can make? I do think it is realistic, and it is possible. I'm gonna show you how actually. Um, I would not want to use the same word that every traders have used uh, by calling it a strategy of life, but I would call it um, a strategy of minimization and maximization of profits and losses. Okay. Um, so what I'm gonna be showing you actually, it's something very realistic that you're gonna either like it or hate it. But before I show you that, if you happen not to like the content of what I will be sharing with you, please, there is no obligation here. Okay. Um, I do know though that if you liked it, please do like uh, in the video. Do like the video on the YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Do like the video on the YouTube and subscribe. Okay, or subscribe. Um, okay, there will be a few other things. I'm gonna break this video into multiple pieces, but I'll also try to cover as much as possible in this one single video, this one single recording. Um, right in front of me, we're looking at a chart from PODD, and to analyze this chart and find uh, points of values in it, we're going to use we're going to use indicators which will allow us to identify points of entries, points of exits, confirmation, confirmation points, and where we can maximize the loss, and also where where we can minimize the loss and where we can maximize the loss. You know, where you can set your stop losses. Okay, we'll be covering that, and I do believe those are very important topics as far as trading is concerned. So, like I said before, if you are new or just beginning to understand the market, give yourself time, and make sure you have your stop loss set for your trades always. Like you can see on my screen, I have this right here set at set automatically. Stop loss, well, mine is about 3%, but that's not realistic. It's always 2% or less, and I have my take profit at 35%, which is sometimes not realistic depending on which kind of trade I'm performing. Okay, let's begin. To begin with, the tools we're going to be needing or using, or things we need, will include the first thing is we navigate to the indicators. Okay, we'll navigate to indicators, and in the indicators we're going to turn on the moving average. Okay, and actually you kind of see that my moving average already displays 3 lines by just as soon as I clicked on them. Okay, that means I'd already set some of them probably before. Well, not probably, but yes, I've already set them prior to this video, and of course I used it in the previous trades as well. What you want to do to set this is that the way I use my moving average is that I have this set as I have a moving average set at leg 8. Okay, 8-day moving average, and then I have a 30-day moving average, and then I have a 200 period, 8 period, 30 period, and 200 period moving average. Okay, and then you just give it different colors. So, and you can tell as the red one is the is the 20 moving period, and then moving average, and then the dark green one is the 30, and then the red one is the 8, dark green is the 30, and the bright blue is the 200. Okay, the next indicator which we are going to be using here is the Bollinger Band. Okay, we're going to be having Bollinger Band. And if you use Webull, actually specifically Webull, you will have a lot of benefits of what I'm gonna talk about. Okay. Under indicators, click on indicators, and then while on indicators, you will see all these options. If Bollinger Band is not listed here, just click the all button. Okay, you should be able to see it. Do note that on Webull, Bollinger Band is noted as BOLL, which is the short one for Bollinger Band. You can set your upper band to be any color and any lower band to be any color. Okay. Do note that my moving average has a period of 8, 30, and 200, but also there is 20 moving period average. 20 period moving average. The 20 period moving average, I'm using the one from the Bollinger Band, which is the white one. Okay. The white one on the Bollinger moving average is a 20 period moving average. If all this comes out to be very noisy for you or very crowded for you, there's one thing we can do. The thing we can do is that we can go to the moving average settings. Okay. Click on this little gears here, and that will take you to the settings. In the settings, you cannot probably see my screen for the settings, but in the settings you want to shut down a few. You want to shut, for example, you want to shut down the 30. Okay. You want to leave the one which is closest to the candlesticks, and also you want to leave the one which is far away from the candlestick, which is the 200 and the 8 moving period. Moving average. Okay. Do note that once again, the white one in the middle, the Bollinger 20, is also the 20 moving average. It's exactly the 20 moving average. And if you want to confirm that, you can go to the moving average, turn on the 20 20 period moving average. While your Bollinger is on, you will see that they lie on the same path, exactly same path. So there's no need to include the other. Just use one. I prefer using the one from the Bollinger because that gives it accurate calculation. All right. Next, the next thing we want to look at this point is you can, if you have used Bollinger Band before, you sort of know what this means already. Okay, having a setup like this. If you have no idea about how Bollinger's works, it works based on the standard deviation, which comparatively compares which data is outside the the given standard deviation at certain point of time in the moving trend. If there's a data outside of that standard deviation, I would say Bollinger Band tries to pull that data back into its middle or to the other side. And I can give you an example of that. If you look where I'm pointing right now, this data here is outside the Bollinger Band, but not every data which is outside the Bollinger Band is true for a reversal. So if you see a point like this, expect some reversal at some point. Okay, what that means is that this was out, okay, and the Bollinger Band pulled it back to the other end, okay, which means if it reaches the other end and touches the Bollinger Band from the other end, it should be reversing at some point. Okay, you get what I'm saying? But that's not how we're going to be using for entering the trade. We're just going to use some of those points to confirm if we should enter or if we should not. Okay, we still have a few more things to add. In this, for you to perform this trade actually successfully with minimal loss and and maximum profit, we're going to add an RSI, which is going to tell us, or which is going to help us predict how much have been bought in the market and how much have been sold in the market. When you see the gray bottom here, this is oversold, which means if you buy at this point, there's a high chance that the market will go up. But do we have a confirmation for that from anywhere? We don't have it yet, so we need another thing which will help us decide if this is correct. We're going to have a MACD indicator. So if you look here, this is oversold. Okay, this is oversold, which means a lot of people will buy from here. Okay, but is this really a good point? MACD says no. MACD says no. MACD says we are still going down. Don't do anything stupid. Okay, my bad. Don't do anything weird. Okay. And now the MACD at some point says, okay, let's see if we can grab a penny or something. The MACD is starting to cross over. So for example, I'm using my green, or the green signal, the green line here on the MACD for the profit. I see the green one above the blue. I know something good is coming up. Okay, so the green one just crossed the blue here. That means there's something coming up. And on the chart, you see that there's this ticks which goes up all the way to the Bollinger Band. It touched the Bollinger Band, it bounced back and touched the Bollinger Band here. And at that point, the RSI says, yeah, we're down. And the Bollinger Band says, yep. But also the volume at that point also says, yeah, they're selling things. You should not panic. So those kind of things. We're not stopping there. We're not done yet, okay? We have one more thing to do. So, for you to find a successful entry point and exit point, do note that Webull actually do show you, actually let me, did you know that if you put your cursor on the side where those prices are and press and hold and move your mouse forward and back, you can stretch the chart. So I'm going to stretch this chart a little bit. Okay, I'm going to show you. Do note that Webull says, oh, you know what, you can buy from here. Actually, that's what Webull says. Okay, and let's see what the other two indicators says. RSI says, yeah, it's just a little bit sold. You can buy if you want, but not oversold. The MACD says, we're still down, bro. You see the green is below the blue. We're still down, bro, but we're not very, very bad. You can buy it probably if you want. So that's what's going on. But we're going to have one more thing which will help us predict this market, okay? We're going to add one more indicator, the last one. The last indicator, okay? We're going to add the super trend. I think a lot of people doesn't like the super trend because it is noisy everywhere and sometimes there's a lot of false errors. But look here. In your super trend, if you add a super trend, there are two things you can do. Super trend comes with the default setting of a 7 period and 7 period by 3. Okay, so you can go to this little gear here, click on that, and then change your input values. This is the default. Let me show you. This is the default. This is a default of super trend. Actually, this is not the absolute default. Let me put it back to its absolute default. This is the absolute default. Personally, I hate these lines from the super trend because they're ugly. Just saying, but of course they're beautiful. I don't like those lines from the super trend. So what I'm gonna do, or what I did, is that I ignored the red line because I'm not shorting a lot. I just want a green line. I mean, not the green line of the green land of the country. I want the green pastures. If you graze animals, you know what I'm talking about. Beautiful place to be with animals. I want the green part of the trends. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the green line. And I'm gonna mute the red one because I'm not shorting. Okay, if you're shorting, it's possible you can leave that. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look just at this trade now. Okay, do remember that Webull tells you that you can enter here, and also if Webull tells you that you can enter, you use the Bollinger Band to confirm that really you can enter. That's the second thing. Must you enter with those two? No, you should not yet enter. Use the super trend. In my super trend, if you're trading something which has um, the price greater than $10, you should set your super trend to be like I'm using, for example, I'm using 99 and 2, okay, a length of 99 and a factor of 2, okay. With a length of 99 and factor of 2, as you can see from here, that means Webull will say enter from here. Then I will take a look at the Bollinger Band. I will say, is it out? The Bollinger Band will say yes. Then the MACD will say, oh, we're still going down a little bit, wait a little bit. But we are not actually down. We are not actually down. Why? Because you see, we are above the baseline on the MACD. We are above the baseline. Okay, we are above this, whichever line you call it. I have no idea. Whatever this stock thing is, maybe I'm not even telling sense here. But that's the point. So you see this confirm. You see this thing from the. You see this entry point from Webull. Wait, check. Is it outside the Bollinger? Yes. What does the RSI says? It's a little bit down. Maybe not too down, but a little bit down. Good enough. Okay. Wait for the first three candles to form up. 3 or 4. Okay. 3 or 4 candles to form up. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You can enter either on the fourth one, or most importantly, wait for a confirmation from the super trend. Now the super trend confirms all of that here. When the super trend confirms that is where you want to enter. You get? That is where you want to enter. And now at this point, you enter here, assuming we entered here. We entered here, we entered at 213, okay? We entered at 213, but remember, Webull says 211. That means we use the Webull value 211 to set our stop loss. We set the stop loss at 211, okay? And at that point, we have no worry, because when Supertrend says yes, nobody can say no, okay? But note that if the market was too noisy, like you see here, Supertrend is too noisy here. It's too noisy. It's too noisy. But if you wanted to short, enter only at the point where you see Webull indication of a price. If you're shorting, enter after you see a sell, a Webull sell indicator, like here. Webull saying sell here, which means a short information will show. A short indicator will show on the next candlestick probably, and then at that point be able to short. And then here a long position got shown up, and so at that point, feel free to prepare yourself to enter the market. Okay, so you enter here, and do note that Webull already indicated for you that, oh, by the way, you can exit from here. But it's not too bad if you want to hang around and see what's going on with the, with the super trend, because the super trend is still being like, oh, we are in the uptrend, whatever it is, blah blah blah. Okay, let's see what else. Of course, yeah, if you wanted to short, super trend just stopped there. As soon as you say it stopped and you have some leverage, you can short that. You can short that right there and just exit it right here. Or wait a little bit. And if you see, as you're focusing on this, be watching both all these three indicators, or not only three indicators. There are many indicators here. But only enter in the trade where Webull points that, oh, there might be something good coming up. Just wait for a confirmation of that thing from Webull. Okay. Once you get a confirmation, yes, don't hesitate. Bam, go in. And with that in mind, yeah, know your entry point. Wait for once again, wait for this wait for an entry something from Webull. If you don't see that, pay attention to the Bollinger Band, what it will indicate. Sometimes you may not notice that, but if it is out and super trend indicates for you that you should enter here, try to find the previous Webull one. Otherwise, it will be a false indicator. Okay, let me show you a false indicator probably. Can I find it in this? Let me pull another thing. Oh, this is a good one. Okay. Okay, take a look at this market. This is also one thing that Supertrend can tell you. If you open a stock and you see it too noisy. This is very noisy. You see entry here, exit here, entry here, exit here. Yeah, that's too noisy. There's no good movement. Well, maybe there's some good movement, but I'm not just saying it. And do know that if you look at my time interval, I'm at 5 minutes period. So if you want to do that, that will still work for you. But either way, if you pull another stock which is not noisy, okay, this is not noisy at all. This is not noisy. Remember, Webull says sell here. All right, they're selling there, which means if they're selling, Webull says yeah, sell here, and then as soon as they sell, we're paying attention to something bad happening. Of course, the shorters will be happy that something should be happening soon. So then a short signal comes up, okay, and that short signal is actually confirmed by MACD, really strong. You see the green one just went below the blue, and that short just kept riding on. Do note that the reason I'm using the 8 period moving average is that as long as the stock does not cross the 8 period moving average, as long as the candlestick does not cross the 8 period moving average, I'm still making profit. But at this point here, it's already crossed the 8 period moving average. I'm exiting here, and also the MACD tells me here that, oh bro, you're messing up. Okay, so at that point I exit. But let's take a look at this side. Okay, initially, if we were just looking at the day without extended hours, okay, let's consider just the day without extended hours. Considering the day without extended hours, the gray part is the extended hours. This would be the day, the beginning of the day. You begin the day green, okay, of which if you're not careful, you can easily enter on the market from here. But look where the RSI is. All the way, it's up. It started up, which means it has to come down. So we'll wait for it to come down. But also, if you're not careful, yeah, you could easily enter from here. But the MACD also is really up. MACD has really crossed. You want to enter when the MACD is just crossing each other's. So now on a day, Webull says, this is a good spot. Enter here, 2.1. I'd be like, oh really? Then I wait. Okay. Okay, and then what do? I wait for this to cross the MACD. As soon as the MACD crosses, sorry, somebody sent me an email. I was trying to pick at my phone. You see this cross each other's. This is a good entry point, and as soon as you see that, you see a confirmation from Supertrend, and you just ride along with that. This candlestick is staying above the 8 period moving average. That's good. That's a good sign. Something is weird probably happening. You barely notice, but yeah, you can exit when the MACD crosses again, which is also where the overbought position is, and people are starting to sell, so probably exit. also you be among the first few ones to sell and exit. So that's basically what I was going to show with show you what I intend to show you today. Um, if you do like the content, please do like and subscribe. I will show you a little more about a few other things which I do to help you maximize your trade. Do note that there's a different setting actually. There's a different setting for if you're trading stocks below $10. Okay, if you're trading stocks below $10, there's a different settings for the super trend, and somehow if the stock is a little bit volatile, there's a different settings for Bollinger Okay, so you can find that in my later videos. For today, see what you can do with this and see how you can maximize your stop loss. Once again, if I was to trade this particular chart, I would wait for this confirmation from the Bollinger Band. I mean from the Bollinger Band and from the super trend, mostly from the super trend. After a Webull indication, I will set my stop loss at the Webull indication, which is $2.1 or just a cent below that, 2.09. Okay, so that's the lowest low. Okay, it can't go below the lowest low yet. So I set my stop loss below that and then enter my trade. Right along, move my stop loss up as the trend moves. Okay, those kind of things. So that way you will be able to at least walk back at the end of every trade, at least with some penny, not losing at least at all time of everything in your in your every trades. And do remember to set your stop loss. I will show you how to set your stop loss in every trade you make if you don't know how to do that yet. And also a take profit if you have some really great moving market which you feel like you can maximize your return on it, those kind of things. Okay, so for now, have a good day and see you later. Adios.